Good morning. Ball State has a new landmark on the scene, getting up close look at a new addition to campus.
Updates on the new YMCA of Muncie coming to town, what the timeline looks like.
And a bicycle company is trying their hand at combating food insecurity. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Good Friday morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal weather. I'm Jace Miller.
And I'm Emma Matlock. Tuesday evening marked the opening of Ball State's new Brown Family Amphitheater. While the success of the evening was big, Newsweek Indiana's Grace Batowski discovered one more accomplishment worth celebrating.
Taking center stage at the grand opening Tuesday night was Tatum Langley, jazz singer, touring performer, and class of 2021 graduate. Langley graduated with her BFA in musical theater. While she completed the program, she spent some of her time in the School of Music, singing with the jazz band.
I sang with them for my junior and senior year, singing here on campus at some concerts, as well as some venues in Indianapolis, like Fountain Square, their swing dance nights.
After tossing her graduation cap, Langley worked in theme park entertainment and local theaters before she grabbed the microphone in Chicago a little over a year ago. Now, Langley performs big band jazz songs professionally across the Windy City and the country.
I also went on tour with the group Postmodern Jukebox this past summer, which has been crazy.
With all of her milestones under her belt, Langley is honored to have the chance to perform back home in the nest.
It's very gratifying to be back here. I'm honored to be here, to be the one singing at this opening. The venue's gorgeous, the band is amazing, and it's Ball State, so what could go wrong?
In Muncie, Grace Bankowski, Newslink, Indiana.
Now to an update on the downtown YMCA's construction process. This location has had their doors closed permanently for a little over a month now, and while this sends locals to the northwest location, YMCA of Muncie CEO and President Chad Zaucha says that a new and improved location is on the way. Zaucha, with help from Muncie Community Schools, IU Health, and neighboring Muncie resource groups, plan to create a, quote, world-class social gathering hub for well-being with the new facility. Construction is yet to be started, but we can expect the new location to be at the Muncie Fieldhouse at Muncie Central High School, just a 3-minute drive from the old location. The facility is projected to be open to the public 18 months from now in March of 2025.
There are many different ways to get to class, dining halls, and more locations around campus. One popular mode of transportation has been electric scooters. Riders are available to rent Morel's rental scooters to ride around campus limits, though price of the rides depends on the distance. Newsweek Indiana spoke to students about this addition, and some felt that the scooters were being left carelessly around campus, blocking sidewalks or limiting the availability of transport for others. Ronald Morel, CEO of Morel Scooters, has a plan in place to prevent this misuse altogether.
So right now we do have that technology that shows where every scooter is located at all times. But one technology that we're currently investing in and thinking about adding is a valid ID to be able to drive the scooters.
Morel Scooters can be found at parking spots near Botswin and the library.
A local group is trying their hand in combating food desert problems on Muncie's south side. Recently, Plank Brothers Bicycle Company provided a nearly 2-acre plot of land to create what they're calling the Common Ground Urban Farm. The goal is to help restore local ecosystem services while also providing economic growth through profitable food and flour product sales. It will also minimize food insecurity issues in Muncie. According to the project proposal and business plan, the farm design will prioritize sustainable building solutions and products while utilizing community volunteerism for construction and management of the space.
It's definitely dedicated to impacting the local food system and improving the local community's relationship with their food and where it's coming from, and really just trying to help provide food for people in an area that is considered a food desert.
And if you'd like to lend a hand, you can find more volunteer info on the Common Markets Facebook or Instagram pages. Now let's go ahead and send it over to Hunter for a look at local weather.
Well, good morning out there. Let's take a look into those current temperatures here. It is 56 in Muncie, a little bit warmer with 62 in Indianapolis, and 59 in Terre Haute. We're looking at some cool temperatures to start your Friday morning. As we do take a step out of the door today, we will see a gradual increase in temperatures here. If you look at this graph, by noon, 72 degrees, which would be great to go outside and enjoy that lunch. As we do end the for your workday commute, it'll be 77 degrees. So again, a nice day. I would take advantage of that. But looking at our regional radar here, you can see not much happening in our area, but if we go towards Illinois in Champaign, they are experiencing some rain, which we really do need, but unfortunately will dissipate and we'll have that cloud cover. But what can I expect for you? We're looking at above average temperatures, rain chances on the way, and some cooler temperatures. I'll have that in my full forecast.
Thank you, Hunter. Just ahead, learn how you can use fruit to predict the winter forecast.
But that's after your weather now.
Welcome back. The current time is 8:07 and you're taking a live look outside at the Brown Family Amphitheater. Who needs a weather forecaster when you have persimmon seeds? Farmers are taking a look for clues about the coming winter by studying native persimmon seeds. They say this year the seeds are predicting a snowy winter season. It works like this. After cutting the shell along the seam, look at the shape of the little embryo plant inside the seed. If it is shaped like a spoon, then you're going to have a snowy winter. The shape of a knife means a windy winter, and a fork shape predicts a warmer, more pleasant winter. One farmer says it's all in fun and a good excuse to eat some yummy persimmons.
It's National Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and while the NIH says more than 100,000 people battle this disease in the U.S., many don't know much about it. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has 5 things to know about this condition and why early detection is critical.
It's a group of inherited blood disorders that cause a constant shortage of red blood cells. Sickle cell disease can lead to serious complications like infection, anemia, and pain.
The pain may be something they live with daily, or it might be not every day, but these sudden, severe attacks of pain.
Dr. Marianne Yee with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says the first thing to know about sickle cell disease is that people who suffer from it are born with the disorder and will have it throughout their lifetime. Also, it runs in families. Those at highest risk are African Americans and those from Hispanic, Southern European, Middle Eastern, and Asian Indian backgrounds. Third, early detection in newborns is critical to living a healthy life with this disease.
Begin treatments to prevent life-threatening infection. We can teach families warning signs such as fever or other signs that might be a serious event.
4, medications can help make the disease less severe, and regular blood transfusions can also help patients stay healthy.
One of the most important things that we do actually in young children is just starting penicillin as a daily medicine to take to prevent and reduce the risk of serious infection.
Finally, Yee says recent scientific advances are paving the way toward new treatments and maybe even a potential cure.
This is a very exciting time for research in sickle cell because there's a lot of active studies going on to try to help these people with this condition.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The FDA sends a drug maker back to the drawing board. ARS Pharmaceuticals' nasal spray called Neffy is a needle-free epinephrine that is aimed for people who suffer from severe allergies. Earlier this year, an independent branch of the FDA recommended the product to be approved. However, on Tuesday, the deadline for the FDA to give the nod, the agency asked for additional information about Neffy, including more research on repeat dosages of the drug. The president and CEO of ARS issued a statement saying the company was, quote, very surprised by this action. If Neffy does eventually get approved, it would be the first product of its type. Roughly 40 million Americans experience severe allergic reactions.
Good morning, this is weather forecaster Ian Kowalski, and right now we are looking at a pretty warm start to our day across the country. Right now, up here in Muncie, 56 degrees, 66 in Kansas City. Quite warm down there towards Dallas-Fort Worth, 80 degrees, and that is because of a lot of warm air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, and we're going to see a lot of those effects as we head to the rest of the day. Warming up a lot, 82 in Cincinnati, 75 in Kansas City, 96 in Dallas-Fort Worth. Again, our hot spot down there in Dallas-Fort Worth for the rest of the day. And throughout the country, we have a lot of weather events going on right now nationally. Over on the East Coast, you can see tropical storm warning focused here in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. That's a reflection of Tropical Depression 16. We'll talk a lot more about that later in the broadcast. But for now, looking out towards the West Coast, you can see winter storm warnings out here towards Montana, heading into the Wyoming region. Take a lot more looks at that again later in the show. And those are reflections of cooling temperatures out towards the West Coast, below average, focus here out towards Oregon, but warming up into the middle of the country towards Minnesota and Wisconsin. Quite warm for this time of year. And again, that's reflected by our severe threat for tomorrow. Looking at, we have a slight risk throughout most of the country here in the middle. Check out here towards Billings. Let's take another look at that because we have winter storms, again, moving in through the west of the country. Watch this rotation as it heads towards the middle, right into Wyoming, heading into North and South Dakota throughout the rest of the week. But on the other side of the country, we do have quite a different story. Tropical Depression 16 moving up along the East Coast. Check out this path as we look into the rest of the day. 35 mile per hour winds on Sunday, but 60 mile per hour winds as we start off our Friday evening, moving up along that coast. Definitely have a lot of very eventful weather throughout the country. Definitely want to stay safe, especially if you plan on going towards the East Coast anytime soon.
Thank you, Ian.
In just a moment, see what feathery character got a makeover.
That's after another look at weather now.
Welcome back. A staple of Ball State sports is flying with new feathers. Newslink, Indiana's Andy Newman went out bird watching to learn more.
Defense! Defense! A cornerstone of Ball State athletics has finally received a much-needed makeover.
Over the years, we've had some wear and tear on Charlie. He's seen some better days. The Alumni Association generously provided some funds to give Charlie the makeover that he needs, and now the bird that you will see today is generously gifted from the Alumni Association.
That gift has helped the local legend shed his feathers for just the 5th time in the past 53 years of his existence. And this new appearance signifies a change in more than just Ball State's favorite bird. as new athletic director Jeff Mitchell takes flight in his first year on the job.
We are creating our own momentum in many ways, and so as a symbolic gesture, can Charlie Cardinal be that with his new wardrobe? Absolutely. And so we're excited about the energy that he brings to our game day atmosphere and all of our sporting events.
But a change to a fixture like Charlie can ruffle a few feathers. Thankfully, Mitchell and Mulaney feel reactions have been positive.
I think people have liked it. You know, there's no shortage of people wanting to run up to him and take pictures and give him high fives and pounds. And so I think we're very pleased with what we've got.
We love Charlie. Charlie is one of the greatest things about this department, about this university. So we really wanted to embrace him and give him the look that really gives him the proper, recognition inside what he gives. So, he get the weights this off season.
And students are chirping at the same tone.
I honestly prefer the new look. I think he looks more menacing and more like he's ready to win a game.
As Charlie finally spreads his new wings, Mulaney expects the look to stay perched.
Charlie is a staple. He is our rock. Student athletes come and go, but Charlie stays. And so we need to make sure that we were giving him the look he needs.
In Muncie, Andy Newman, NewsLink, Indiana.
Well, Charlie Cardinal, he definitely does look new and improved, and he gets those fans pretty rowdy both inside Worthen Arena and Schumann Stadium.
I agree. I think it is amazing the fact that we can get a completely new revamp and maybe get some more hype within Schumann Stadium.
Right, you are. Well, bird watching, just as we saw with Charlie, great weather for that, so let's toss it over to Hunter.
Yeah, Charlie would definitely be enjoying these temperatures, especially for the football game this Saturday. As we look at the current radar here, we don't see really much in our viewing area, but if we go into Illinois here near Champaign, they are experiencing some heavier pockets of rain, which we really do need in our area due to that moderate drought. As we look at that current temperatures here, it is 56 in Muncie, 62 in Indianapolis, and in Bloomington it is 57 degrees, which we're looking at some pretty cool temperatures for your Friday commute. As we do look at the next 12 hours, though, you'll see a gradual increase in temperatures here. By noon, it'll be 80 degrees, in which it would be great to go outside and enjoy that lunch if you have that chance. But as we go through your evening commute, we'll reach a high of 81 degrees, which is seasonally warm for this time of year, and which will slowly back down into the 70s for your evening. As we go into tonight, though, we'll be looking at mostly clear conditions with a low of 54 degrees with east winds at 10 miles per hour. So if you are having those outdoor plans, have that light jacket or that blanket, as we do expect some cooler temperatures for tonight. As we do kick off for Saturday football here, it'll be a high of 78, north winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Perfect tailgating weather. I'll be personally out there having a burger, enjoying the Cardinals' win against Georgia Southern. So again, really great temperatures, just like how it was for family weekend last week. As we do kick off the weekend, like I mentioned, really nice tailgating weather for Saturday and a little bit cooler on Sunday with mostly sunny conditions with north winds at, again, 5 to 10 miles per hour, which is fueling these really seasonable temperatures. But as well, these high pressure systems is causing this moderate drought in our area, in which we've seen weeks after week just high pressure systems, which hasn't brought much moisture into our area, in which, as you can see here, 33% of our viewing area in Indiana are experiencing that moderate drought, while the other one is abdominally dry for this time of year, in which, like I mentioned, places of Muncie, Anderson, Marion, all experiencing these conditions, which hopefully by next week we'll have some rain to help with that drought. As we go into the next 7 days here, again, beautiful weather for Saturday, and as we head through the next week, we will have cooler temperatures with a chance of rain on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right, Hunter. I'm hoping for some rain out there. It's getting a little dry out there, and my allergies aren't really in favor of that.
Oh, for sure. We really need that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I'm very excited for this fall weather. Maybe just getting a hammock in while I can,
Right on. Kelly Ritzel Bowl watched as her teenage son Nick lost his battle with cancer. The one bright spot during his treatment was his Make-A-Wish trip to Hawaii. When Nick found out that kids can age out of Make-A-Wish, he was devastated. The night before he passed away, he asked his mom to make sure older kids can still get their wishes.
Lamp is in place. Are we all ready? Guess what, Abby? Come on out here if you can. Congratulations! Yay! Surprise! When I get to see somebody saying, my wish was granted. You are gonna go to Hawaii! Sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's joys, there's hoots and hollers.
She founded Nick's Wish and has been surprising hundreds with bucket list dreams. His mom has dedicated her life to granting once-in-a-lifetime experiences to young adult cancer fighters ages 18 to 24. For her, it's all about bringing a little joy, one wish fulfilled at a time. She already granted more than 300.
A NASA astronaut has reached a historic milestone by spending a full year in space. Frank Rubio rocketed into orbit 365 days ago. He was supposed to be home 6 months ago, but there's an issue with his ride home. CNN's Kristen Fisher explains.
And liftoff.
A few weeks before NASA astronaut Frank Rubio launched to the International Space Station with 2 cosmonauts on a Russian Soyuz rocket, I spoke with him about the geopolitical tensions that he'd be leaving behind on Earth.
Did you ever have any second thoughts about flying on a Russian Soyuz in the middle of this conflict with Ukraine?
Again, not really, because I trust my crew wholeheartedly. If anything, right, there's a little bit of nerves about the whole big picture of going to space for the first time, spending 6 months up there.
But 6 months quickly turned into a full year after his ride home. The Soyuz spacecraft was struck by a small object in space, puncturing the Soyuz's radiator and spewing coolant into space.
A stream of particles.
Russia's space agency Roscosmos decided the spacecraft was unsafe and a replacement Soyuz would need to be sent to bring the crew home. For Rubio, who was on his first space flight and had just become the first Salvadoran American to go to space, it meant being away from his wife and 4 children for double the time that he'd been preparing for.
If you had known at the time you launched that you were going to be up in space for a full year instead of 6 months, would you have still done it?
Yeah, hey Kristen, it's good to talk to you again. I think it would have depended on when I would have found out. Obviously, if they had asked me up front before you start training, because you do train for a year or 2 years for your mission, I probably would have declined, and that's only because of family things that were going on this past year. And had I known that I would have had to miss those very important events, I just would have had to say thank you, but no thank you. But once you commit to the mission, once you're part of the training, I would have been committed to the mission.
By the time Rubio returns to Earth next week, he will have been in space for 371 days, longer than any other American in history. 3 spacewalks, conducted dozens of science experiments, but perhaps the most interesting experiment for this Army doctor turned astronaut is the one that Zero Gravity has been conducting on his own body.
The reality is we're not standing, we're not walking, we're not bearing our own weight, and so it'll be anywhere from 2 to 6 months before I essentially say that I feel normal.
And normal is exactly what Rubio's craving, spending time with his family and time outside these walls on Earth.
Up here we kind of have the constant hum of machinery that's keeping us alive, and so I'm looking forward to just being outside and enjoying the peace and quiet.
Rubio is still shy of the world record for time in orbit. That record belongs to Russian cosmonaut Valery Polyakov, who logged 437 continuous days in the 90s.
Home prices rose last month as markets continued to experience low inventory. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median price for existing homes in August was $407,000. That's nearly 4% higher than a year ago. This is the second month of rising home prices. With low inventory, buyers are competing for the few homes available in their local market. The number of composed sales also dropped in August compared to July.
The 2024 election is less than 14 months away, but voting machine companies are already making sure that their systems will be safe. On Wednesday, 3 big voting equipment vendors announced they granted a group of cybersecurity researchers access to their software and hardware for nearly 2 days. The goal was to see if they could find ways to break into the systems. Some of the attack scenarios included stuffing ballot boxes and knocking electronic poll boxes offline. The results are still being processed, but the vendors say they are already making tweaks to their security protocols in response to the tests.
It's a fruit drink that's missing the advertised fruit. That's the claim in consumer protection lawsuit against Starbucks over the coffee giant's Refresher line of drinks. The drinks in question are the Refresher line Mango Dragon Fruit Lemonade, Pineapple Passion Fruit Lemonade, Strawberry Acai, and Strawberry Acai Lemonade. The ones who brought on the lawsuit say the drinks did not have mango passion fruit or acai. They say they would not have paid a premium price for the drinks if they had known they were missing some of the fruits advertised. Starbucks said the allegations were inaccurate and without merit. The company wanted the case dismissed because it said the drinks' names refer to flavors, not necessarily ingredients. A federal judge disagreed, and the case is moving forward.
Just in time for fall, people don't always realize what it takes to grow a pumpkin, especially when it's for competition.
It's hard to explain the emotions that go into growing these pumpkins, but the weigh-off day is like a Super Bowl for you.
Farmers from across Wisconsin are getting ready for the 5th annual Ginormous Pumpkin Festival. That includes Shannon Engel, who grew his monster pumpkin that is now more than 1,000 pounds. Engel says it can gain up to 25 pounds of weight in a single day, but it's not easy. He says severe weather is the biggest challenge when it comes to growing the giant gourds. But other factors includes bugs, animals, and disease. The Ginormous Pumpkin Festival is set for tomorrow in Altoona and includes pumpkin weigh-off, a pumpkin dessert eating contest, and a giant pumpkin drop. In just a moment, see the unlikely album drop by an unlikely new artist.
That's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Get ready for some 6 beats, courtesy of the Fed. Haven't heard of the Fed? The federal government. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has released an album called We're Safety, Now Haven't We? It has several songs with safety-related messages aimed at young adults, like reminding kids to wear a helmet and put your phone away while driving. The album can be found on the Consumer Product Safety Commission's website and YouTube channel. The songs could eventually pop up on Spotify and Apple Music.
It's time for our Adopt a Paw segment in partnership with Muncie Animal Care and Services. We're highlighting a paw that's looking for a forever home. Say hello to Bonnie. She's the longest resident of the shelter and just wants someone to play with. She's 6 years old and knows how to sit and shake. She's also housebroken and dog selective. If you're interested in adopting Bonnie or any other pet, you can head over to the MACS website at cityofmuncie.com. And what a beautiful day and weather this week we've had for walking a dog in general. I mean, just look at Bonnie out there. That was a very cute dog.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, no, definitely really nice warm temperatures to walk that dog outside.
Well, coming up, we'll have
That's all for Cardinal weather this Friday morning. Thank you for joining.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.